Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be focusing on our chemical versus physical changes again. Remember, your learning goal is you have to be able to differentiate between chemical and physical changes. Many of you did quite well on your assignment that I gave you yesterday, your asynchronous assignment, and then some of you didn't actually do so well because you did not use the PowerPoint that I gave you for help, which many of you will say was the answers. Yeah, Miss Lee does that quite frequently just to see if you're paying attention. Let me reiterate, I do not accept Google copy and pasted answers. The reason I gave you the assignment I gave you was so that you couldn't Google and copy and paste. You had to actually use the resource I gave you. And some of you did copy and paste, I could tell, but you copy and pasted from my PowerPoint. I want you guys typing the information because remember, you're not writing in the classroom with a pencil and paper, so you're not learning when you're copying and pasting. Reading and writing is fundamental, and reading and writing is remembering. I'm very much aware of that. So even in the digital realm, I want you guys typing at the very least. Copying and pasting, you're not learning. So, to start our class today, we are going to have a pop quiz. So, everybody needs to be on Canvas. It's going to be located in your quiz section, and I will walk you through there. I'm going to pause here just for a minute, and then we're going to take our pop quiz. Okay, so we had our quiz, and I will take a look at those later. I hope that you guys all did well. You should have, because it came straight from the assignment I gave you yesterday. All right, so let's take a look at chemical versus physical changes in matter. Let's look at it one more time. Matter changes on a molecular level, resulting in the formation of a new chemical substance. This is when it is a chemical change. Chemical changes involve the making of and breaking of bonds between atoms. Chemical changes cannot be undone. Some of the examples you might want to get down in your notes are cooking an egg, baking a cake. Remember, those ingredients in that bowl can't go back to what they were when you're cooking it. It has changed. The bonds have changed and been broken. Rusting iron, or what we call oxidation. Iron that has been left out in moisture with oxygen is going to rust. Now, you would have to sand the rust off and repaint it with a rust-proof paint in order for you to make it nice again, but it's not changing the rust that's on the iron. Burning of wood. Once you burn it, you have ashes. You can never put the ashes back together into wood logs. Dissolving salt in water. That's another example. Physical properties or physical changes. And guys, crushing of a can, and just like the paper I balled up the other day, it's still going to be a can or it's still going to be paper. It doesn't matter if you crush it, you could still open it back up. It's still the same material. Making trail mix, we can dump all sorts of things in there, including M&Ms and Chex Mix and pretzels and Doritos, all the things that we like, but we can still pick them out and go back to what it was. Melting of ice, same thing. The liquid form can go back into a solid form. Chopping wood, okay, dissolving sugar in water, that's a physical. Now, I want to go ahead with Thursday's assignment, and we do have a practice activity that I do want to do with you guys in class. Before I do that, I want to tell you what your assignment will be for tonight. So tonight's homework, not really homework, but it is your independent work. You're going to have an ed puzzle, and since we didn't do Wednesdays, I didn't assign Wednesdays, we're going to do Wednesday's ed puzzle on chemical and physical properties, and then I'll save the next one for you for tomorrow. Now, we're going to watch a brain pop video, okay, because it's going to re-explain physical and chemical properties. Let's do that.
Dear Tim and Moby, what's the difference between a physical change and a chemical change? From Leo. A physical change happens when matter changes size, shape, or form. When that watermelon dropped, it changed from a round green melon into a pink and green mess of pieces. It's still watermelon, just, changed. Another type of physical change is the change from one state of matter to another. The ice cream in this thing was solid a minute ago, but it's changing to liquid faster than I can eat it. Melting ice cream is a quick physical change, but some physical changes take years and years to happen. 8 years ago, this patio is brand new. Over the years, some small cracks formed. Then water froze and expanded inside the cracks, making them even bigger. This kind of change is called physical weathering, and it's caused by the effects of water and wind over time. Weathering is responsible for much of the shape of Earth's surface. That must be left over from my cousin Freddie's visit. The rusty metal is actually an example of a chemical change. Iron in the metal reacts with oxygen in the air, forming a third substance that we call rust. You know a chemical change has occurred when the substances that make up an object have been changed into other substances. When sodium metal and chlorine gas come in contact with each other, they react, and the result is salt. You wouldn't want to eat sodium or chlorine on their own. Both are very poisonous, but the salt crystals produced by this chemical reaction are found in every kitchen. Right, Moby, you can't always see chemical reactions. In fact, chemical reactions happen inside of you every day. When food enters your body, it's broken apart by your teeth. That's a physical change, by the way. The chemical changes happen when the food is broken down by enzymes so nutrients can be delivered to cells that need them. You know that a chemical change has happened because your energy level increases in the hour or so after you eat. Well, guess I'm getting hungry. No thank you. No, actually I was mistaken. I'm not really hungry at all.
So let's see how we would do on the quiz. On the quiz, which of the following is an example of a physical change? Physical, it is not made into a new substance. So, water freezing into ice, a piece of wood burning, a toy car rusting, or zinc producing hydrogen gas when mixed with water. If you said water freezing into ice, you would be correct. What type of change has occurred when a nail rusts? A physical change, a chemical change, atomic change, or a reactive change? Oh, it is a chemical change. My bad, I clicked the wrong thing. Chemical change. Guys, anytime something rusts, it's a reaction between oxygen and moisture in the air with the iron. Okay? What does it mean when there's a physical change? Does it change it to another substance? Does it change on a molecular level? A new substance is formed, or has it changed size, shape, or form? Hopefully you pick this one. What is an example of a chemical change that happens inside of your body? If you said food being broken down by enzymes in your stomach, you would be correct because that is chemically breaking it down, as you learned in 7th grade science. When it is chewed in your mouth, your amylase starts to work on it there, but the act of chewing itself is a mechanical breakdown, not a chemical, right? The chemical breakdown is when the amylase starts to break down the food itself. What's an example of a physical change that happens inside of your body? And I just said that, right? Food being broken into small pieces by your teeth. Yes, a mechanical breakdown. What can you infer about the changes that formed the Grand Canyon? Molecular changes, there were chemical changes, there were physical changes, they were changes in weather. Best answer choice is they were physical changes, just like the cement around the pool, right? They crack, water fills, freeze, expand, all that stuff. So physical change. How does rust form? How does rust form? Hopefully you said through the physical mix. Oh no, not physical, chemical reaction between iron and oxygen. See, Miss Lee was getting ready to pick the wrong one. Don't jump the gun too fast. What happens when sodium undergoes a chemical reaction with chlorine? A new compound is formed called salt, right? That's the NaCl. We've been telling you you need to memorize. Sodium is Na plus chloride, Cl, is going to yield or create table salt, NaCl. Which term best describes the two substances that react to form salt? The two substances that react to form salt taken independently are toxic. Which phrase most accurately describes a chemical change? Means it must change a new form. To change it to a new substance, right? Chemical change. Hopefully you put that. This is the one I told you that I marked accidentally. I jumped the gun. My fingers were too fast. So now for the next few minutes, we're going to do an activity together to see how you guys classify properties and change versus chemical versus physical versus chemical reactions. So you're going to tell me in the chat whether it's a physical or a chemical property. And then on the next one, you're going to tell me if it is a physical or a chemical change. So I'm going to give you a few minutes and then I'm going to start asking you based on the first one. Potassium metal is kept submerged below in oil to prevent contact with oxygen and water. You're going to tell me whether it's a physical property or a chemical property. Okay, and I'm going to stop the video right here because this activity will be seen in the video recording of the class. So I'm going to stop the video or my teaching part right here. And don't forget, you do have an Edpuzzle assignment on Canvas tonight, and I will have that published for you to get started. Always, always, always remember on Edpuzzles, you must watch the video in its entirety. That means even if there's 5 seconds left of the video, do not stop it prematurely. If you do, it will not submit the assignment. Please keep that in mind. Also, those of you that are new to Miss Lee, please do not try to answer the questions by Google search and copy and paste. I will mark it incorrect because I'm giving you the material I want you to use to answer those questions. And that is the video that is 8th grade science content. Google answers are not. I promise I will mark it wrong if you do not want to not be able to redo because Edpuzzles are not going to be reassigned. If you do not want it marked wrong and you want a good grade, please don't make the mistake of being a Google and copy and paster because that will not get you very far in Miss Lee's class unless she tells you to specifically Google, as in looking up words or definitions or pictures for your definitions. Please don't give me a Google to copy and pasted answer. Google does not know what your 8th grade North Carolina science content is. Miss Lee does, so use the video. You guys have a great day. I will see you tomorrow.